Stamping with Di. Welcome to another week of fun lives. And this is the Mimeograph Monday with a twist. The last few weeks I've been doing the card like the catalog. Sometimes I change it a little bit, like today I didn't have one of the things. So I just improvised or whatever. And then I change it up a little bit. So it's called Mimeograph Monday with a twist. Doesn't mean I'll do it every week, right? Like maybe there'll be sometimes I'm like, there is no making that catalog project any better because it's perfect as it is. But it is kind of fun to play around. So let's see. Mary Ellen, my sister's here. Candy and Jackie. Good morning, Brenton, Carol, and Nancy. So I love when you say hi. I hope I don't miss when you say hi. If you ever ask a question and I don't answer it or I don't see it, always make sure that you answer or you ask it again in the description, because YouTube says, Jane asked a question or whatever, and then it brings it to my attention, because it's easy to miss, right? I get so ingrained in my stamping, sometimes I forget to look up. So, hey, Melanie. So let's get started. All right. Spin the phone around. So a new week. So I will remind you about February's goodies or guts. And so you get to choose. And if you order 75 before tax and shipping in the month, that can be a cumulative orders. You can pick goodies and guts. If you order 200 before tax and shipping, you'll get both. So I added that because I had the last I think I've only been doing this a little while, right? Where you have the choices, and I've just been kind of sending it, as a surprise. And I thought, well, maybe I should let you know. All right, and then the February Hostess code. So if you are not one of my club members, this is the code you want to use. Or if you have your own private code, if you need your own code so that you can collect orders from your friends and family, or you order several times during the month, make sure you holler at me so I can give you your own code so that you'll get your own Hostess benefits. All right. Hey, Sharon, Stacy, thank you so much for sharing. Now, what I'm going to use today for the Mimeograph Monday, and I'm so bad about using the Hostess sets. And we have two cute Hostess sets that are in the mini catalog. So I'm going to do this card today. I was back and forth between these two cards. So what I might do is I might do this one next week, just because I love this little image. But today we're going to do the mice. All right. So hi, Lily. Oh, Deborah on the big screen. All right. Well, I'm on the big screen in my studio. Well, it's not a big screen, but it's a TV. All right. So I'm going to use Mischievous mice, and I'm also using the sports event because we're using this die here as well. All right. So let's see here. We are using Pool Party as our card base. Now, I didn't do anything on the inside of these cards because I'm doing two cards. And I haven't decided what I'm going to put on the inside. So I haven't decorated the inside yet. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. All right. So this is that rectangle die. Oop, I didn't tell you I used that stitched rectangle as well. All right. So that's going to go in here. And these are these two ones that come from that sports die. Are they not so fun? They're like, they're ticket stubs. So the one is going to have the little mouse stamped on it. And now the card in the catalog was stamped with the stays on, and it was colored with the blender pens and the ink pads and stuff like that. And you know me, I wanted to use the blends. So I'm using the Memento and the Stampin' blends. So that made me have a little bit of fun with the vellum. And I didn't have the vellum that they mentioned. And so I was just trying to fiddle fart around. So I'll show you what happened with that. All right. So we're going to stamp our cute little mouse on our ticket. And then I'll just let her dry a little bit while I show you what I was doing in regards to the balloon. And what's cool is Stampin' Up! Already cut this out. So then you don't get, because you know how sometimes you get the ink will catch? Like if you have a flat spot and it's so aggravating. So that's super cool. I also have been noticing it catches a little ink on a couple of the other stamps. So I've been, after I ink it once and I realize it, I take my scissors and I just cut down these edges that are catching the ink still. So sometimes it's good to stamp something on scrap so that you see if that's going to happen. All right, so we have our little mouse, and I'm just going to set her aside so I can show you what I did. All right, so it talks about vellum, and I didn't have that in color vellum. Because I don't necessarily sit there and plan out my mimeographs in advance, which is bad, right? It's just kind of like, oh, what am I going to do? So I don't always have everything. And so I thought, well, I'm going to get that kind of an idea. So this is what I was doing. So I just took regular vellum, and then I just used Mango Melody and my blending brush, and I just added some color on the back of the regular vellum. And then I turned it over. No, did I turn it over? No, I didn't. Okay, then it dried. Then I took my Flirty Flamingo, because I used the Flirty Flamingo color, and I just made some circles, and then that made the balloon look very similar to the one that was in the catalog. And then I would just have to trim that out. Now they use a StazOn, so it dries faster. The Memento takes a little bit of time to dry on the vellum. But then I got thinking, well, I'm going to have to adhere this to the card, and sometimes your glue shows. So I was like, okay, so I'm not going to use vellum. So this is how my mind works. So then I'm like, well, I'm going to do So Saffron. So I stamped, you know, my balloon on the So Saffron. I used my Flirty Flamingo Stampin' Blends and made some circles. This was the Stampin' Right marker. That was just this, because this is me playing, right? And then I stamped It's Your Birthday, and I didn't wait long enough. Plus, this was cardstock. So when you blend on cardstock, it reacts a little bit differently than it does to the basic white. And you can see that, you know, the color like smeared a little bit just because it's a different kind of paper. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. So those were not what to do. So this is what I ended up doing. So I'm going to take my piece of saffron cardstock. So this is what I ended up doing. And I'm going to ink up my little balloon. So hopefully this helps, right? Because you're like, oh, well, that didn't work. This didn't work. And it's fun to figure things out. I pretend I'm like a scientist. Like, you know, and it's all trial by error. All right. So we've got our little balloon on here. And then, so this is a So Saffron, because the card in the catalog, it looked kind of yellowish. And it might be, right? Because I used that, the shimmery, in color shimmery vellum. And now I'm like, oh, I need to get some of that because it sounds so pretty. All right, so I'm going to use the mango, and I just got a new mango pad, so it's a bear to get open. All right, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take a finger dauber, and I'm just going to put some circles on my saffron to give it like a polka dotted balloon. And make sure you stamp some off, right? Because the circles go off of the balloon. They just don't, you know, stay within the balloon. So, all right. So then we'll let that dry a minute. But then I got thinking too, I think a lot, right? When I'm all by myself. We have these really cute ombre bags in the catalog. And I thought, oh, these would be really fun to stamp on it as well, right? Because they're super, super cute. So what I ended up doing was I stamped the balloon on the pink one. And look how cute that balloon is. Because then you've got the darker pink and it just goes down, down, down. So that's super cute. It doesn't have any polka dots or anything on it, but I don't think it really needs the polka dots because it's got that ombre, you know, kind of look to it. All right, so this should be good and dry. So let's put our happy birthday. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Joe. Marcy's here. If you need anything in Canada, Marcy's your go-to girl. All right, make sure I got that good and inked. So it's your birthday on our balloon. All right, so I'm going to let that dry while we color our mouse. I kind of like things to sit a little bit and you know, dry before you're automatically coloring and messing with it. Okay, so let's get my blends out. Now, the one thing is, the one little ticket, so let's do that first before we color our mouse, because that's going to take a little bit. So the one ticket is actually like homemade designer series paper, and that's even what they said. In the techniques, it says create your own DSP. And what they used was the blends. And I'm just taking, so this is the dark Just Jade. And I'm just drawing some lines. And I'm not measuring, I'm just kind of eyeballing them on there. We're just going to make some striped DSP. So that was Just Jade. And then I'll take the dark Pool Party. And then we'll just fill in those white areas. So this would be super fun. Like I mentioned the other day, if you have to make something for like a school or something that has a particular color, you know, the colors maybe from work or whatever, you could make your own DSP. My pool party's almost at the end. You can tell the colors I use all the time. All right, so I'm just filling this in, and then we'll just set it aside for it to dry. But isn't that cool? You're making your own stripes on there. And what I like about the blend is that it dries easy. There's no lines in it. If I were to do this with like a Stampin' Right marker, you'd have lines. You know, you'd have all these lines and stuff. All right, so we'll set that aside. Now we can bring our cute little mouse over. And I like loaded that up, didn't I? All right. So we'll just color down here in the corner. All right. We need, what do we need? We need pink little cheeks. So light Flirty Flamingo, our cute little cheeks. But I'm also going to put Flirty Flamingo on the nose, in the ears, and on the end of the tail as well. And then dark gray granite, and we'll just finish our little mouse. So what's fun is the balloon is off the ticket, right? It's off the ticket. And the one I did originally, I even put a ground under the mouse, but then I'm like, oh, I'm thinking I'm gonna not put a ground on this mouse because I want it to make it look like she's flying in the air. So the balloon, you know, she's going up in the air on the balloon. So I even change mid card. All right, so that was the dark gray granite, and then we'll do the light. So hi, Virginia. Hopefully I haven't missed anybody. let's see. So this is just a light gray granite. Now, usually when I do white, a white area, I will put gray granite, right? Because white still has a color, even though it's white. But my mouse is gray granite, and I want the belly to be a different color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use petal pink. So it'll do the same kind of idea, right? That the mouse has a white little belly, but there's you know, there's still color, you know, like as it reflects, you know, off the light and stuff. So I'm just taking my light petal pink and I'm just going around the edge of both sides. So I kind of made a circle. But what I've done is I've left a white area in the center. And then I'm just going to take my color lifter and I'm just going to go from that center white area and just soften those edges. So let me bring it up. Hopefully you can see. It's such a pale color, you might not be able to see what I did, but so it just has that white area, but it's not like stark white because I softened it by using the color lifter. So hopefully you can see that. Oh, Sharon, it just practice makes perfect. I have been coloring since I was a little kid. So this is just, I love the blends just because it's like being a little kid again. All right, now this should be good and dry. And I'm just gonna cut the balloon out. So I have this one. So here, this is what this one would look like if we put that pink one on there. And then here's this one. So this one would make it more like the card in the catalog because of the polka dots. But I kind of liked stamping on those bags, right? And to use them for another purpose. That ombre look is so in, right? And I don't think some things ever go out. Although I've been watching a lot of the new seasons have started for, you know, the fixer-uppers and all that kind of stuff. And we didn't do a new kitchen. We just kind of revamped our kitchen, you know, a couple years ago. And we did not paint. You know, we just put new counters. So there, that's going to go on there. We did new counters, but we were back and forth. Do we paint the cabinets white? Because that seemed to be, you know, what was going on. And the company that redid, you know, updated our kitchen, they were like, you know, natural wood is coming back. And sure enough, do you know, we're watching those shows and they're leaving those natural, or they're even putting them in. So, and I'm glad we kept it as it saved our pocketbook for one thing. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on with some dimensionals. So this pops up because it's color on color, right? It's the same tone on here. So then you'll really see it. So get these all out of there. I also finished watching Sweet Magnolias. So it was pretty good. All right, so that's going to go on here. Like that. Then we're going to bring our cute little homemade DSP. Isn't that fun? It almost looks like a towel, right? Doesn't it look like a beach towel? Now that has me thinking. I might have to make myself a note so I don't forget, because sometimes I'll think and then it's gone out of my head. But this might be cute as a beach towel with that driving by van. Someone needs to remind me of that because I will forget. All right, so we're going to put this on the card because it totally, would you say totally looks like a beach towel. All right, so we're going to put that on there. Now the little mouse, I'm going to put this one on with dimensionals so it pops. It is so good, Marcy, the Sweet Magnolias. And that's different than steel magnolias. Oh, so we won't talk about it, but it's really good. And I love Cheyenne. She was Reba's daughter on the Reba, and she's one of the main women. So it's kind of fun to see her. So now see what I did. I'm not going to put a ground under my mouse because I'm pretending that the balloon is carrying the mouse away. All right. Well, not away, but to the birthday party. All right. All right, so I'm going to put dimensionals on there as well. And you know what? Take this one off. I want to put it here because I don't want, just very careful, and you can peel them off. There we go. Yeah. So these two are on here, so that I don't put a dimensional up here, which it would have been because I wasn't paying attention. All right. So these will catch the bottom and those will catch the top. So now we have our cute little balloon. Isn't that so adorable? And then it also used, these are the new Sparkle and Shine sequins assortment. And they're super tiny. Super tiny. Did I say super tiny? They're tiny. All right. And I'm just using the green tip glue. Oh, Glenda, you're fine. I still have another card I'm going to show. All right, so I'm going to take my green tip glue, and I just want a tiny little dot. I mean, like tiny, 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 tiny. And then I'm just going to reach in here and get a little star. And I'm just laying it on there. Now, what's happening is that glue is kind of coming through the hole of the star, and I'm not going to push it. I don't want to push it down and have it go everywhere because when that glue dries, you won't see it. So then we'll put one here, here. So I'm just barely squeezing it. Sometimes it's hard to barely squeeze that glue because sometimes it just has a mind of its own and just poops its way out. All right. So then we're going to go star. So I'm just letting it drop on that glue. So you definitely want your pick tool for stars. Pick that up. But they're so cute. Get on there. Now we also have stars that are with the sports suite as well, if you wanted bigger stars. But isn't that fun? So there's that one. So that's the one. Now here is the with a twist one. Because this stamp set is so cute, I just can't not use the one in the cheese. So then I got thinking, you know me, think, think, think. All right. So then I thought, what if, okay, so we're still using so I didn't change the colors. So we're still having the pool party as the card base. But then I grabbed a piece of pool party, and these are the 6x6 DSPs that have the, Virginia, can you just refresh? Can you refresh? And then, so I thought, well, this will be fun, right? Because then you've got a little bit of texture going on there. So then that's going to go on here. And then I thought, well, what if I cut one of those tickets with the mango and turn it into a piece of cheese? But then I needed to find some circles, and I found circles that were small enough, an inspiring canopy, as well as palms. And that gave me the little circles. So I just, die cut it out, and then I laid the circles down and then ran it through, a couple more times. And then it made this cute little piece of cheese. Doesn't it look like cheese? All right. I still wanted to use this piece, so I trimmed it down so it was a little bit smaller, just because this card is going to be put together this direction. So I wanted it a little smaller, right? Because you know, I want to still be able to see the cheese. So I found that if I put it together like this, I could see my cheese. I mean, you're going to go to all that trouble to do that cheese. You want to see it. All right, so let's do our little cheese mouse. So let's do our little mouse. And I have a new memento. Well, it's not new, but I mean, I haven't used this one in a while. And the lid is a bear to get off. All right. So here we have our cute little mouse on our cheese. And then I'm just going to scoot down because I want to make sure I'm getting on that piece. There's our cute little mouse. All right. So I want to let that dry just a second. So while that's drying, I'm going to take Say Cheese. Now, you know you got to use it because it says Say Cheese. All right, so I'm going to put my Say Cheese right on my cheese. Make sure it's inked up good. So I'm going to put Say Cheese right on my piece of cheese. And then we're going to color our cute little mouse. All right. We're going to color a little mouse. All right. Now this obviously is going to be on the ground. So we're going to take the pool party and we're just going to put a little bit. Hey, Teresa, we're going to put a little ground on our mouse this time because the cheese is not flying in the balloon, right? Let me get that off of there. All right. And then, so now we've got our little mouse has got some ground under him. And I just used the pool party because there's pool party cardstock. So I want to bring pool party in there somewhere. And the mouse is going to be gray. So I don't want to have a gray ground. That's just me. All right. So let's see. So we're going to color the mouse very similar. And I think I forgot to use the dark smoky when I colored the other mouse. But we'll use it on this one. All right, so we got to do our little flirty ear hole and cheeks and tail. My sister used to have mice as pets. All right. And then, oh, I forgot his nose. Goodness gracious. Forgot his little pink nose. All right. And then, and I seem to remember them having a pink tail. All right. So this is just a dark gray granite. So we're just adding a little bit here and there. All right. And then our light. So you like that idea, Stacy? So it's the same card, basically. I just changed it up. The catalog is a great place for ideas. All right, color, and then I go right over the flirty so that it's still got fur over it, but you can see the pink coming through. All right, and then I'm going to take the dark smoky that I forgot to do on the other one, so I can always add it. And I'm just going to add a little bit of dark here and there, just to do that. All right, and then we can't forget his tail. So dark, dark, and dark. So his little tail is coming out. So I wanted to use, I could have used just a regular piece of basic white, but I wanted to use the ticket again so that we've got the same little, it's almost like the mouse has been chewing on this, right? With this little ticket stuff. All right, so then we're going to take our daffodil. We do not have a mango blends anymore. So I'm using the daffodil, but I'm also going to be using the new, oh my gosh, what is it? Pale papaya. So I'm going to first use the daffodil. And then we're going to use, because this is the dark daffodil, and then I'll use the light. And then I'm going to use the pale papaya to really go in there and add some different tones to our cheese. All right. So the little holes will be darker. And then don't forget these little cheese droppings. We're calling them cheese droppings. They're not mouse droppings. All right. Oh, I need to put a little bit on the dark. Hey, Anna. You gotta love replays so you can always catch it. So this is just a cute little mouse. This is the Hostess set that's in the mini catalog. And when you earn Hostess benefits, you can pick, the Hostess sets, but you can also pick catalog merchandise. And I remember years ago, we had levels, right? Like you would get a level whatever, and then they changed that. They put a value on the Hostess sets, and then you actually earn dollars, and you can choose Hostess sets or catalog merchandise. I love that. Because sometimes, if you have more than one party, you get all the Hostess sets. You can just pick catalog items. So I love that. All right, so I'm just going around in circles. This is with the light daffodil. So I'm just basically getting all of that around, and then I will pay more attention to fixing my edges after. I just want to get a good base of color on there before. This mouse is so stinking cute. Now I don't have to turn the squirrels into a mouse. Remember that card? Now we have real mice. Right. So then I'm just going to go over where it's darker, and then just go in there with the edge of the marker, and then I'll just soften that edge up a little bit. And when something's cartoony like the mouse is, you don't have to be perfect. It's a mouse coming out of cheese, so you don't have to be too anal with it. All right, then I'm going to take the dark pale papaya, and I'm just going to add some, like in the edges, because it's kind of like it reminds me a big time of the mango that we used to have. But it just has just a little bit different tone, but I'm just putting that little bit in the corners so that there's a couple different colors of the dark yellow. So there would be some shadow around the mouse there. Cool. All right, so there's our cute little mouse. And then I think I want to, so the pool party has lightened up as it's sunk in. So I'm going to put just a little bit more underneath. Right. So let's put our card together. And like I said, I didn't put any, I didn't do anything on the inside of these cards today. I know usually I do, but I didn't today because I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. All right. So we're going to put this. So this one's all going to be kind of like cockeyed. It's not all going to be straight. So this one was pretty straight, right? This was straight. Then this was a little crooked, but then this was straight as well. But this one's going to all be kind of cattywampus. All right. So this is just going to go on. I'm not using dimensionals on this one because it has a pattern to it. So I don't need to necessarily pop it up. It's also DSP, so it's thinner. So it would be a little more wobbly. I'd have to put more dimensionals on the back so it wasn't like falling all over. All right. So then we're going to put our cheese kind of crooked too. And we're going to put our little mouse crooked too. But these guys are going on with dimensionals because it's cardstock. It's a little heftier, so it can withstand, you know, sitting up in the air a little bit. Plus, I want that shadow, right? I want that cheese to make a shadow on the card. And by adding the dimensionals, it does. I knocked my green tip glue down. All right, so here we go. So I'm going as close to the edge as I can because these are pretty big kind of pieces, right? So, and I didn't want to trim them down. I mean, I trimmed the mouse down. I just want it to fit in the envelope. So that's why I'm just making sure it goes to the edge here. And then this little mouse is going to go over to here. And again, I'm going to put dimensionals. So I'm only going to put dimensionals on this side of the mouse because he's going to overlap our cheese. More cheese, please. All right. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use this as my guide. So he goes here and here. So he also touches the edge of this card. And then that allows that cheese to really, you know, really be shown. I didn't want to cover it all, right? That's why I trimmed this down instead of leaving it as big as it was, because I would have covered my whole cheese up. So, cheese, Louise, you want to see your cheese. All right. And then I'm not putting the stars because this isn't like a birthday, right? The stars made sense for the birthday. So I'm going back to my holiday rhinestones because they have these perfect little yellow ones. So that's what I'm going to put on there because it goes perfect with the cheese. All right. So let's put these on there. Now I know it's like, you're putting bling on a mouse card? Yep. You can put bling on anything. All right. So I'm just putting these kind of every which way, and we'll even stick one on our cheese. So these are our clear envelopes, right? So I try to keep my embellishments, you know, in the little envelope so I know where they all are. All right. So here's our card. So the one I did earlier that I was looking at was a little bit different because I actually stamped the mouse off and I cut him out. So I wanted this one, I wanted this to stay on this card. So I didn't have to do any cutting. So that's the only thing that's really different about those two. And then the cute little mouse that I did before. So let me just show these because these are the ones I did on the thing. And now I can add a little bit of dark to my cute little mouse. So this is just a dark smoky slate. Just so he's got a little bit more definition on him. But isn't that fun? Oh my gosh. I think that will turn out so much. I love the bling too, right? Oh, Joe, the DSP on this card is it's in the main catalog, and it's the color family ones. Hang on a minute. Let me get my DSP. It's the color family ones where you get I'm like, see right here, the designer series paper assortments. So see, this is where I got that. So hopefully that's what you're asking. I know, right? And it's the last page of that mini catalog. As for this DSP, I made this DSP. So this DSP was just made by making stripes on the basic white cardstock, and that made that DSP. So yeah, they're totally in the last page, and I think they do that because when you flip through a catalog, this is what I think they do it, right? When you flip through a catalog, you go like this, right? So you see your index first, you know, then you see your Hostess stuff, you know, and things like that. I kind of think that's why they put it in the back. I don't know. Instead of in the front. But that's where they are. They're like, I mean it, the last page. because there's the cover. So anyways, so yeah, definitely you want to grab your little mouse. Now the mouse is valued at $12.50, and the expressions of friendship. And I want to do look, I got a dimensional on there. I want to do this card next Monday because she's too cute, and she's valued at well, their value is higher, right? They have a $21 value, but they cost $12.50 and $13.50 for your hostess benefits. So they're super cute. But anyways, but yeah, so you definitely want to get them, right? So anyway, so if you had, you know, a workshop, then you just pick that for your hostess benefits. All right, so let me stop blabbing. Let me stop blabbing. It wasn't that fun making your own? Yeah, so I kind of made my own the other day with the 4 cards really fast where I stamped in the center. So so that's fun. I whipped up a bunch of more cards. I need to do that more often. Like go through the catalog and just pick stuff, because they made some beautiful cards and it was so quick. And sometimes you just have to do that. So anyways, that's okay, Sharon. I'm about ready to say bye too, because I do believe Jeff is home from work. I just saw like a light. You know how the sun reflects on the vehicle. So I think he's home. So anyway, so hopefully you liked Mimeograph Monday with a twist. And I can't tell which one I like best. I think I like them both the same, really, because they're cute little mouse. All right, not that I want a mouse in my house, but just as a stamp. All right, so I'm going to say see you later. I will see you tomorrow for my Teach Me Tuesdays. And it's episode 114. Can you imagine? Oh, so fun. All right, so have a great night. Thanks, Breton. Yes, Cindy, I love the twist. So, and it was Janice. I wrote it. Janice was the one that came up with the twist. But anyways, I even had to make a new little sign for my mimeograph. Okay, so I will for real say bye. So I'll see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock, Arizona time, same channel. All right. Thanks so much for joining with me, everybody, today. I love it so much. Bye.